My name is Kosi Yankey. I'm the Executive Director for the National Board for Small Scale Industries. It's the focal governmental agency that provides support to micro, small, and medium enterprises in Ghana, providing technical support and financial support to strengthen the ecosystem of micro businesses, small, medium businesses in Ghana. I'm from Ghana and I live in Accra, Ghana now. Reimagining Africa is a very important thing, and I will reimagine Africa as a continent where we have the basic amenities in place, like access to water, electricity, good roads, good transport services, access to good healthcare services, and I think that's what we all need. And when we travel outside and come back and talk about the wonders or other things happening in the West, that's what we hope for. And that's what we wish for our continent as well. So when I reimagine Africa, that's what I reimagine: a healthy, happy access to the basic amenities that we need and deserve. And why did I think of coming up with Reimagining Africa and this African Alumni Action Forum? Was right after elections in Ghana. As you know, in 2016, Ghana we elected a new leader. And it was a few weeks after that. And I was sitting down and it just hit me that Ghana was turning 60 years. And at the cusp of that, we had actually elected a new leader. And there was a change in government for the third consecutive time in different parties. And we were all hopeful. And there was a whole population of people who were hoping for change and hoping for new things, the things that we all ask for: jobs, create more jobs, give us better infrastructure. And I thought there's so many people who can make that happen. I went to Harvard University, the Kennedy School, and a lot of the things that they ask us is ask what you can do for your country and not what it can do for you. And so in thinking about that and thinking about all the changes happening, and also thinking about the Mason program, which I was a part of in the Kennedy School, which actually really brought a lot of students from emerging markets, different countries, that were growing or developing, to come up with a new generation of leaders who would go back and bring about change. That program was also turning 60 years. And that was very instrumental in putting together this action forum. I think what I'm doing to move towards my ideal Africa is, one, hosting this conference. I think people think it's a place to just come and talk, or is that another conference where people talk? That's what I should say. But it's not. It's actually sowing a seed for something greater. And I think it's sparked a lot of conversation and a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts in people's minds, and people want to act on something. I think we heard the two presidents speak, the president of Ghana and Liberia, talk about what we need to do as a generation to bring about change, to actually address the problems that we face, be it in healthcare, job creation, the youth population. And it resonated across everywhere and every speaker that the youth unemployment, job creation is very important. And how do we diversify our economies? And so for me, in my role now as the Executive Director for the National Board for Small Scale Industries, my role and what I'm going to act on is, through this organization, how do we create jobs? How do we bring aboard right partners to create jobs, to support startup entrepreneurs, to support businesses that have existed that need access to finance, to technical support, and to grow and scale up these businesses? My role in Reimagining Africa is to act on that and strengthen these businesses so that they can go out and create more jobs for other people, because without that, we have a problem. And I think it was quite clear that it's actually a national security problem when you have a lot of youth who are unemployed. If someone comes to me and says, I'm coming to you with open hands, what would you want? First of all, I would want to know what that open hand is. Is it just opening your hands, or it's really saying that I have this amount of capital and I want you to do something with it? And I think there's a lot that can be done with it. And I think the first thing is really look at across the nation, if it's Ghana or even across the continent, identifying, one, the youth who have very good ideas, because there are a lot of them. But the problem is access to finance and access to the right kind of finance. And so I think that we will push to get that to work for that. Secondly, really looking at what kind of, in their communities, what are the problems they need to solve? And turning that into a business venture, I think, is really important. And it's one thing that we forget or don't see much of, but it's really important for people to start solving problems in an entrepreneurial way in their communities. And so the person with the open hands, be it capital, will then have to deploy that capital to support the entrepreneurs and train them in various things, besides giving financing, but train them in the right business management and providing that kind of support for them, technical assistance support. I think with also open hands is, we also do talk about entrepreneurship and people starting businesses, but we don't talk about where are the markets. So if they have that capacity to open the doors for better markets, I think that's some of the things that I would say, this is what we can do. This is what the youth or even entrepreneurs in this country are doing. This is how it looks like. They need financing, they need training and capacity building, not just any capacity building, right? But really targeted at helping and improving them. And then we're saying, we also need access to better markets. How do we access better markets? How do we build greater partnerships amongst businesses and programs to strengthen and share that as well? And we need the right coaches and mentors. So if they have an open hand and they have experience in it, I think that's important. So you can see that through the entrepreneurship mini field class we're having at the Harvard Africa Alumni Action Forum. And the professor comes in and teaches people and says, this is what you need to do. How do you think outside of the box to come up with great ideas to support your country and the workplace or businesses that you work? In terms of final remarks, I think that one of the things I've realized is the power of network and the power of collaboration, and we don't do a lot of that. We need to strengthen our networks, and we need to use the network to turn into a net worth as well, and use that to collaborate, because you can't alone bring about massive change. But if we are able to come together through forums like this to really inspire conversation and to instigate debate and get people to start thinking outside of the box, I believe that we'll be able to do so much more on the continent and so much more with each other in our countries and in our little space, wherever it is that we are.